Hello and good morning. I got up bright and early today so I can start a video that is totally necessary because I really have to catch up to my reading goal. If you don't know, my reading goal for this year are 100 books, and right now I'm at 78. Yeah, so that means I have about a month left to finish that. That's a lot of books in a month. I don't know if I've ever read that many books in 1 month. I don't think so. I think 12 was the most I ever did. So that's going to be fun, but I really hope that I can do it and I can finish it because it's a goal that I set for myself, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter how much you read, but I just like accomplishing goals that I set for myself, and it's just so satisfying. And that is why I would really like to be able to finish it, which is why I thought it would be good to just challenge myself for a day and see how many books I can finish to catch up a little bit on my reading goal. I won't be able to catch up on it so I can be on track because I'm I think 12 or 13 books behind. And that obviously is a number of books that I cannot read in a day. Maybe some people can. I definitely won't be able to do that. So yeah, that's going to be really interesting and challenging. And because I got up so early, I already started listening to an audiobook because this is mainly going to be audiobooks and very short books, obviously. Not just for the sake of it, I picked out books that were already on my TBR and also some on my physical TBR that I wanted to read anyways. But yeah, to finish my reading goal, I obviously have to read shorter books than usual to be able to make it because I have to read more books. And again, you don't have to do that. It's just a fun challenge. It doesn't matter if I don't make it, but I just want to. And I really like numbers and statistics and even numbers, which, yeah, there's no real reason. This is all just for fun. And I'm also going to be mood reading today because I can't possibly read that much in a whole day when I force myself to go through books. So I might have some DNFs in there. Depends on how well I chose the books that I'm going to read, and maybe I'm also going to ditch my plans. We're just going to go in and see where it takes me. And the first book that I picked up that I already started listening to is an audiobook. It is Two Can Play by Ali Hazelwood. Yeah, I don't think you can really see that. But yeah, I'm already 1 hour into this audiobook and at the speed I'm listening at, it is only 2 hours long, which is really short. And I think the thing with short audiobooks or short books in general is that you have to fit a lot of, not content, but like story and build up and resolution into it without making it feel rushed or making it feel meaningless. And so far, I really enjoyed this book. Actually, the last scene I got to, I was like, okay, I have to start filming now because this is so cute. It made me really giggle and kick my feet, and it's just so nice. It's my first Ali Hazelwood book. I've never read anything by her. And what really intrigued me to start reading this one was that it's about game developers. And I actually really like that. And it's something that I also did in my studies and at university. And I really just like it. I don't like doing it as a job. I think I would not be able to do that because it's more on a technical level. Yeah, you just need to accumulate a lot of knowledge to be able to do it. And I don't have that. But it's still very cool and interesting to read about. This book is about two people who work at companies that are actually competing for a video game. So they are both making proposals on how to continue a series. And now they decided to actually start working together so they have a better chance. But there's a lot of rivalry between the companies and a lot of animosity between the people in the two companies. They just don't get along very well. And that is very fun. There's a lot of banter and just a lot of people bashing each other, and it's really funny to me. And the two main characters, Viola and Jessie, they have known each other for a pretty long time. But Jessie kind of seems to dislike Viola. At least that's her impression. He always ignores her at work events. He doesn't really talk to her. And then at a party one time, they stood under a mistletoe and were supposed to kiss. And he was like, "Ooh, I'm not going to do that," and walked away. And then she overheard him talk shit about her, and she didn't really like that. From these interactions and how they were described, you could already tell that maybe there was something else behind that and not him disliking her as the sole reason for it. But it was really funny to read about, and also about just the whole process of them going to this retreat where they now have to be together and work together, and them interacting with each other. And Viola has actually had a crush on Jessie for a really long time, since they first met, basically, even though he has treated her like she doesn't really exist. Now, we kind of found out a thing about why he has been acting that way and what he thought was the situation. Oh, it's just so fun. And now she's confronting him about it, and that was the moment where I paused, because I was like, things are happening here, I have to talk about it. And I think the last half of it is going to be resolving that, and them actually going to start interacting with each other and talking about stuff. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's been so fun so far. And yeah, that is the first book. And then the next ones I'm going to pick up might be physical ones, but I also have some other audiobooks prepared. So first up, I have Heartstopper, which is really short. And then I also have I Am a Fan by Sheena Patel, which I bought on a trip to London recently. So that one is also really short, but I don't know about the writing style yet. So I have to see if that is manageable. Yeah, because a lot of the time, short books aren't necessarily quicker to read, because a lot of them, especially if they're literary fiction, just require more brain power and like written in a way that you need more time to comprehend each sentence. And that might take you longer if you have to actually take it in and it's not as fast paced, which makes a lot of sense, but could be hindering my ability to finish it today. So I'm just going to see what the vibes are, if I'm in the mood to read it or not. And then another audiobook that I might want to start today is Killjoy by Holly Jackson. It is the prequel to the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, and that is actually really, really short. So I think I'm definitely going to be able to finish that one as well. So that would then be 4 books. I hope I can finish them all. We'll see. We'll see. I think if I can do 5 books, that would be really, really good. I would be really proud of myself if I can manage 5 books today. I don't think I've ever read 5 books in one day. That seems so unrealistic, but I kind of think I can do it. I'm going to update you and see how it will go, because right now it's already 1 p.m. and I also still need to film another video and edit that to get it up today. Yeah, that's a lot, but we can do it. And if I can't, that's fine as well. But right now I'm going to continue listening to Two Can Play and going to make some lunch. I just finished reading Heartstopper. I just finished it in one sitting. It was so good. Heartstopper books always are very good and very nice, and they always make me smile and they make me emotional. It was just so fulfilling to finally read the 5th part of this series, and I'm already looking forward to the 6th one. It's just so cute. I love the storytelling. I love the themes that are being dealt with. It's just so good. I love the writing. I love the drawing style. If you don't know, a while back I did read the 3 Heartstopper books in one day that were out at that point, and just since then I've been a fan. The themes that are being discussed in this one in particular are a lot around sexuality and first times, and also about parents and how their own relationship with their parents might affect the relationship with their children that they have. I really like that sequence. And then also about relationships when you're going off to uni and how to deal with that. And at that point in my life, I didn't have to deal with that, but I think it goes for anytime you have a big change in your life and you're thinking about moving, or there's an opportunity coming up with a job or university or whatever, and you have to move away, and then you have to decide, do I want to do that? Do I want to do long distance or not? And yeah, it's just really relatable, even though it's a YA book. I think that's the coolest thing about the series. Not only that it's cute and it reminds you of your own youth, but it also deals with topics that are just universal and will stay important for a really long time. So yeah, that was that. And of course, I also finished Two Can Play by Ellie Hazelwood. As you saw, I really enjoyed that one. It was so cute. It was just so cute, and it made me feel so many things. I really like that. It's just, even though it was so short, I was so invested, and I really liked the whole romance and their whole backstory. It was built up so well, even though we only had such a short time with the characters. And I'm definitely going to pick up more Ellie Hazelwood going forward. And I even rated this 5 stars, and that's... I don't know if I will stand by that in a few weeks or so, but just in the moment when I was reading it, I just had so much fun, and it was just what I felt, so I gave it 5 stars. I really like that the main characters had so much in common, and that they took the time to get to know each other, and that they were genuinely interested in each other's lives, and not just because they were attracted to each other physically, even though that was definitely also the case. I also liked how they discussed their future going forward and what that might mean for their work relationship, and just in general. We didn't go into too much depth there, obviously, because it was really short, but I liked that it was addressed. And yeah, so these were 2 really, really good books that I'm just so happy about. And then I also already finished another audiobook because it was just so short, and I was kind of organizing files on my computer and blah blah blah. It wasn't interesting, so I listened to this audiobook while doing that. And that was Killjoy by Holly Jackson, the prequel to the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. And that prequel actually is more of a murder mystery party that these children go to. And it's where Pip, the main character, realizes that she is actually really interested in investigating murders just by playing this game, and then having this great conclusion about who did it, and yeah, just realizing how much she loves that. And it's also kind of connected to the last book that I read. I think it was the 3rd one. So I did enjoy it, but it wasn't as good as the other ones, in my opinion, just because it was even younger. The characters were even younger, and it felt more middle grade than YA to me. So it was very young, and it was fine for what it was, but I didn't have at any point in this the thriller feeling that I got from the other books. Because even though I said I don't like being that scared, that was not enough for me, personally. But I do think that if younger children are starting into the series, that's a good starting point then. And it was just so nice to connect with the characters again. I didn't rate this in the end because it's just so short. It doesn't really make sense for me to rate this as a standalone thing. And I don't think I even have much more to say about this. It was fine. And now I'm probably going to start listening to Open Throat by Henry Hoke, which I'm also going to listen to as an audiobook. And then I'm going to start reading I Am a Fan by Sheena Patel. And I don't know how much of these books I can still finish today because it is now 7:30. And yeah, I still also need to do some stuff around my flat. And that is going to take some while. I still also need to edit a thumbnail for a video. And I don't know how much time I will have left for reading because the book is short, but it is still 200 pages. And I'm not the fastest reader, so it would take me a few hours to get through that. But I think I will definitely still start it today, if possible. But so far, I am really happy with how far I've gotten. I'm definitely slowly catching up to my reading goal, and if I can continue reading like this, there would be no problem at all. But it is a Sunday and yeah, not a work day, so that's not going to be the case. Well, anyways, I'm going back to reading now so I can finish some more books, hopefully.
Open Throat by Henry Hoke. Narrated by Pete Cross.
Hello, so I just finished the audiobook of Open Throat by Henry Hoke, and it was really, really good. I had such good luck today with all of the books that I picked, and I actually think I would rate this between 4 and 5 stars. Maybe even 5 stars because it was really, really good. And I think actually a lot of the people who criticized this book as being too short or not having enough to say don't actually understand it that well, or maybe I'm just going overboard with the interpretation of it. I don't really know. But I actually think there is a lot to find in this book if you think about it a little bit longer and you don't just consume it and then be done with it, which is something that we tend to do in times of social media and short form content. I get it, and I tend to do that as well. I read a lot of books, and that is something that you have to be really mindful of. That you don't just consume books and then just because at the first glance you don't get it, you just tend to say, oh, I didn't gain anything from this. Because sometimes you just have to think about books and they have to stay with you for a little bit longer to actually get the full meaning and actually get something from reading them. If I'm making any sense, I don't know. But I definitely think that this is a book that I would want to reread and that I would like to actually purchase to have in my collection because I think it has a lot of layers to it. First of all, it's about this lion that lives in the Hollywood Hills, and it lives in Griffith Park, I think. Is that what it's called? And that is actually based on a true story of a cougar that lived there and then in the end actually got shot, I think. And so we have this one layer of the true story. And then there are obviously fictional elements in this. The lion goes on this journey through the town and then also meets some humans and only gets to listen to their interactions and not partake in them, and gets to just witness everything that's happening and then has to react to everything that is being said. Yeah, is obviously not understood by the humans. And then there's this element of connection with the girl that the lion meets in the city. And yeah, there's just so many layers because there's this environmental aspect of this lion being in this hostile environment to the lion, and about urbanization and what humans are actually doing with nature, and that animals can't live there anymore. And telling the story from the lion's perspective, I think I talked about this in a very recent video actually, about a fantasy book that I read as a child that was told from a bat's perspective, and that made me actually feel very connected to animals later on in life that I read this as a child. And this is kind of reminding me of that, because we have the story of this lion, and because it's told from its point of view, we see LA and the surrounding landscape and everything that comes with it through its eyes and what that actually means for nature. And then we also witness some other interactions with humans that the lion doesn't really understand, but we can definitely see social commentary in them. And that's very interesting. There's stuff about the housing crisis and yeah, just so many things. And then there's also another level that actually is about queerness. And in the Goodreads reviews, I actually read a lot of the time that the queerness wasn't a necessary part of the novel, that they didn't get it from the novel, but it was marketed as a queer lion, and that they didn't understand that. But I definitely got it. I think it's very evident in the storyline and in the storytelling that this lion that just has to exist in its own form, in the form that it was born in, a lion, and it is only existing, and even that is being perceived as something that shouldn't be there and that is threatening in some way, and also is perceived as outlandish or as something that doesn't belong there, even though it is in its natural environment and it just exists there. So yeah, there's definitely parts of the book that you have to interpret to get that, but I don't think there's a lot of interpretation necessary actually. I think it's very obvious, and it is just so well written. It is written in a very interesting syntax. It is very poetic and prose-like, and yeah, I just really enjoyed listening to this, and I think I would also really enjoy reading this physically. So I might buy this book in the future. And yeah, I would really, really recommend reading this, because just a lot of layers that I think you can get a lot from. And then I also started reading this book, I'm a Fan by Sheena Patel, but I don't think that I will be able to finish it today because I'm going to bed now. So I'm definitely not going to finish it today. But I am on page 26 now, and I think this is also going to be a book that I really like. I don't know what's happening today. I'm just really, really lucky. And yeah, this book has been awesome so far. I really like the storytelling in this. I like the humor. I like how kind of self-aware it is, but also not acting on it at all. I mean, the main character, she's very self-aware. She understands what's going on in life and why she's behaving the way she's behaving. And she sees how people manipulate her, and she still falls for it and reacts to it. And that is just, everything about this is cool. Not in a way of it's cool to be like that, definitely not. But it's just so cool how well our current society is being captured in this. And if you're a person that spends a lot of time online, which I kind of assume you are because you're watching this video, I think this is going to be really interesting. It is a lot about influencer culture and about consumerism as well, about capitalism and about relationships in the modern age and emotional manipulation. The main character definitely is morally questionable, and that is also very interesting because you kind of feel sorry for her, but then you're also like, but you're doing the same stuff. You're partaking in all of this as well. So I think that's going to be a very interesting read, and I'm really looking forward to it. So, yeah, to conclude this vlog, it was very cool, very interesting. I didn't think that I would be able to actually finish that many books. I thought this was maybe going to be a huge fail, but yeah, it went really well. I had such good luck with all of the books that I picked. I'm really happy. This was the best reading day that I've had in a long, long time, and I'm really glad I took you with me for that. Still haven't read enough books to come close to catching up on my reading goal, but that doesn't really matter. I'm just really happy that I'm reading books that I'm enjoying. Thank you so much for staying with me until the end and watching this video. And if you haven't done that yet, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I am looking forward to the rest of December. See you tomorrow. Bye.